What's up guys, I'm Josh Elliott, and today I will be reviewing a movie called The Darkest Minds. So remember the teenage dystopian future overthrow the government movie genre? Remember how it died a couple years ago? Yeah, The Darkest Minds does not seem to know that. So The Darkest Minds is yet another teenage dystopian thriller. This one is about a disease that kills 90-something% of all the world's children, and the children that do survive are given special powers. The government takes the children and puts them all in these camps where they're given categories based on what their powers is. Greens are really smart, blues are telekinetic, yellows can control electricity, reds, screw the reds, they hardly talk about them. And then oranges have the ability to control other people's minds. And our main character, Ruby, is an orange. She's been pretending to be a green all these years because oranges are meant to be obliterated because they are dangerous and a threat to the government. So when she's like, 16, 17, she manages to escape from this camp and catches a ride with a bunch of other runaways, and they are on their way to this special camp that is rumored to exist where kids can live in peace and harmony. Yeah, so what do you expect? It's a teenage dystopian thriller. This is basically a checklist of all the stereotypes of these types of movies, and yes, they are all there. There's a romantic subplot. They have to overthrow the government. This girl, Ruby, she's special because she's an orange and there are only like 2 oranges left alive because the rest have been killed, and so of course she's like the chosen one. Yeah, it's dumb. Is it terrible though? I'd have to say no. I think The Fifth Wave is a terrible movie, and I don't think The Darkest Minds is as bad as The Fifth Wave. This is gonna be the theme of the review, why The Darkest Minds is not as bad as The Fifth Wave. Most importantly, this does at least try to take a new approach to the genre. This is essentially a road trip movie. Now, lots of these types of movies do revolve around characters traveling, like Maze Runner: The Scorched Trials does revolve around the characters getting from point A to point B. But the thing that I liked about The Darkest Minds was that the characters don't want to fight. They don't want to overthrow the government. They just want to get away. They just want to be left alone and live peacefully, but the government views them as a threat, and so they keep bothering them. And I liked that aspect of the movie, but then at the very end, it becomes an overthrow the government type of movie, and that's clearly what they intend the sequel to be. Although this movie is not getting a sequel, it barely made its budget back. The sequel is not happening. This also has some pretty good cinematography. Nothing special, but I liked the shots. They did a good job with it. So because of this whole road trip aspect, the first half of the movie actually isn't that bad, in my opinion. I quite enjoyed this slightly different approach to the genre. I liked Ruby. What's the actress's name? Amanda Stenberg. She was in Everything. She was in The Hunger Games. She's gonna be in The Hate U Give. I haven't been like super impressed by her yet, but she's a solid leading female. The romantic subplot did not need to be there, but it wasn't super cringy. Like, the two have good enough chemistry. The parts of this movie that I enjoyed, I didn't enjoy because they were good. I just enjoyed them because they weren't terrible. But then we get into all the stereotypes and plot holes. Plot hole wise, what was this disease that killed off so many of the kids of the earth? Literally nobody in the movie is even asking that question, and so I don't know if that's a question the audience is supposed to have, if they intend to answer that in later movies, which aren't going to happen. Why are the parents not fighting? So many of the kids in the world have died, and the kids that are left have been taken away from their parents. Have the parents not fought for their kids? None of the kids talk about their parents except Ruby. Oh, and also, Ruby erased her parents' memory, but that scene is shot so badly that does not come across that it was her fault. I thought the government erased her parents' memory of her so they could take her, and that's what they did with the rest of the kids. But apparently it was just Ruby's parents, and Ruby did it on accident and doesn't know how to reverse it. Things. Also, why does the government even view them as threats? Because they haven't actually done anything to prove that they are threats to the government. It's not like The Hunger Games or Divergent, where there was literally a war that happened, or like Maze Runner, where it's proved that the kids' abilities can help the world. No, I'm pretty sure in this, they just put the kids to work because they don't want them. Then you got all the stereotypes of there's a twist later on in the movie, and then it becomes an overthrow the government movie. You have this whole, like, gang of characters, and all of them are stereotypes. There's, like, the romantic love interest, there's the nerd, there's the little girl that doesn't say a single word in the entire movie. Basically, The Darkest Minds is not the worst you can get in terms of the teenage dystopian thriller, but it's definitely far from the best. I will give it a 4 out of 10. So, what did you think of The Darkest Minds? If you saw it, be sure to comment below to let me know. Also, leave a like and subscribe. Click here to subscribe. Click here to watch our last video. Be sure to follow our Instagram account. Link is in the description. Follow my Letterboxd account where you can catch early reviews of these movies. Peace out. See you guys.